I finally had a job within a company that I didn't hate. I liked the people on my team. My manager didn't have any anger issues. And in general, I liked the work that I did. I was a supplier quality engineer, and my role was to go to different supplier sites to ensure that their processes and our products were meeting the standards of the manufacturing shop that I worked in. I literally worked with people who had 20, 30 plus years of experience. And here I was coming in fresh off the block, fresh out of school to work and basically make the determinations if their work was up to our standards. But to be honest, the best part of my job was that I got to get out of the office and sometimes get company funded hotel visits. So it wasn't all bad. Still not what I had envisioned, but I was in year 5 of my career. And by then I'd learned that the name of the game in the company was biding your time while finessing the key stakeholders. Now, the finessing part, I still wasn't great at. So I stuck to what I thought could do best, was hopefully getting by on merit. Anywho, one day, my manager walked out of his office, as he typically do, to walk through the cubicles where I and my coworkers were sitting behind our screens. He walked up to my desk very quietly and placed a folded sticky note on my desk. It was strange. It felt strange, and I wasn't sure what to do or say, but then he made eye contact with me and said, "This is your bonus." And then he walked away. So at this point, I'm thinking, this has got to be the biggest bonus that I've ever had in my entire life, or the answer was or. I picked up that sticky note, unfolded it, and saw that my annual bonus, not my salary increase, but the first one that I had received in my entire role of 2 years in this position, was just a little over $1,000. Now, before I go any further, I want to give you a little bit of information about who I am. My name is Latoya Dixon Smith, and I am an engineer turned boudoir photographer, sex doula, and business coach. And I know that the value that I provided for this company and the work that I did, making them millions daily, was well over $1,000. And I don't know who you are, what your profession is, what your salary or your income is, if you are a business owner, and I can't tell you if relatively $1,000 is a lot of money to you, if it's high, if it's low, if it's something that you'd be proud of, or if my response was valid. But to be honest with you, I don't care. I really do not care. In that moment, all I knew was that the first thought that came to my mind was, I can make 3 times this in a weekend at my side hustle. That's the only thing that crossed my mind whenever I opened this and I saw that number. And that was the day that I decided that my days at the company were numbered. That was also the day that I decided that I was worthy of my time, my expertise, and my efforts being valued and celebrated much more than what was reminiscent of being slid a note in the back of a middle school classroom when the teacher wasn't looking. I deserve more than that. Something shifted in me that day, and it felt like anger. It felt like a wounded ego, but it also felt like a desire for more. And you know what? I really did feel deserving of it. And the only thing that changed between Latoya prior to being slid that folded sticky note and the one immediately after and henceforth was this: I just decided that I was. Worthy women lead not because someone tells them that they're worthy. We just decide to, literally. Worthiness is our birthright. It is a status bestowed to us even before we were placed in our mother's womb. You are worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy. And I want that to resound in the back of your head throughout this entire segment, because you are worthy. But the reason so many of us don't feel that we're worthy is due to our societal conditioning. We live in a patriarchal world, yes. We face challenges as women, as Black women, that make it 10 times harder for us to navigate the terrain that our lesser melanated counterparts experience. And that's hard, yes, but we are still worthy. And this is the hope that we get in this. And in our worthiness, we also know that we are not victims. And that means we can do something about it. Your presence here today proves that. The Blaze Virtual Summit has been designed specifically for you. Those of you who are watching this right now in this very moment, it was destined to be. You are here not only to consume and to feel the fullness of the meticulous planning and effort that went into this great event, but the intention has been set for you to feel nourished and to feel supported and safe to go out and lead in your worthiness. You're not just here to listen to me talk. You're just not here to sit here and marvel at what's before you today. But the effectiveness of spaces like this, in my eyes anyway, is measured by how activated you are to take these words, to take these connections and the information that you gather this week and to add it to your myriad of reasons of why you are already worthy. And if you decide to answer the call, that your worthiness is showing you that you are already ready to lead and step into your position of higher leadership, whether it's in your home, whether it's in your business, whether it's in the boardroom, hell, even in the bedroom. I did mention that I'm a sex doula, right? There's power in all of that wherever you show up. It is in our design to lead. There is a natural pull and attraction for you to converge your mind and your matter and just to make something shake. So the $1 million question is, if I know that I know that I know that I was put here on this earth to draw out something deep within me that I'm feeling called to do, but my mind, my hands and my feet, they are not on the same page in alignment toward the thing that I really desire, then Latoya, what do I need to do to shift all of this in order to begin to feel worthy? Would you agree that this is the logical question to ask? Actually, it's not. That is not the correct question to ask. It's not what do I need to do, it's who do I need to be. Worthiness is not in the doing, it's in the embodiment, it's in the feeling like you deserve the very thing that crosses your mind that you feel is what you need to fill the gap. One thing about being a self-aware woman is that I've come to learn that my worthy tipping point, similar to a water boiling point, comes up like this. And F it, I'm over this. I'm done, no more. So when I got slid that folded Post-it note, this folded sticky note, F it, I'm done, no more. I deserve more. When my college freshman summer love interest told me that he was going to take care of his ex-girlfriend instead of going out to celebrate with me, F it, I deserve more. I'm done, no more. When I gave a photography client a hefty discount on their services, and they still were requesting more of a discount, more product, more headache, F it, I deserve more. In Rachel Rodgers' best-selling book, We Should All Be Millionaires, A Woman's Guide to Earning More, Building Wealth, and Gaining Economic Power, she has an entire chapter on making better financially sound decisions. She calls them $1 million decisions. For the majority of us, we don't wake up one day to $1 million, even though, God, if you decide that you just want to hand over, slide over, even on a sticky note, if you want to slide me $1 million, I will be okay with that. But the money flows to us from the decisions that support that flow. And we make $1 million decisions because we feel worthy that our environment matches our desire. And in the book, Rachel uses this formula for making million-dollar decisions in the acronym WSABM, which is the same acronym of the title of the book, We Should All Be Millionaires. So the first letter is W, want. What do you want? What are the innate desires of your heart? And this actually reminds me of the movie The Notebook, when he asks her, what do you want? Because if you don't know what you want, it is going to be so hard for you to lead, and it's going to be so hard for you to even make the next step that is in the direction of what you desire. So start there. What do you want? S, shoulds. Identify all the shoulds that come up when you're making these decisions. And what you'll recognize and find is that as you start to identify what these are, you'll see that some of these shoulds are not from you. They have been placed into your subconscious from your conditioning or from people telling you this is what you should want, this is what you should do, because this is what you're capable of. So you need to understand, how do I release the shoulds that are not coming from me and that are not in alignment with my desires? A, action. What precise action do you take? That one is pretty straightforward, because decision-making, of course, it starts in the mind. But in order for that decision to be carried out, your hands, your feet, everything you do needs to be in congruence. B, body. What does it feel like in your body to make this decision? And to be honest with you, I feel like this is one of the strongest points in this formula, because as women, so often we have been so disconnected from our bodies, and our body awareness is not as strong as it should be, because we don't trust ourselves, and we don't trust our bodies, and we don't trust the way that our body communicates to us, whether we are making a decision that supports us, that aligns with us, that makes us feel safe, and so on and so forth. So I invite you to really sit in that. When you have those butterflies in your stomach, or when you start sweating, or your skin starts to tingle, pay attention to that, because that is also a way that God, the universe, and you together are making these decisions to support you in your actions. And then finally, M, more. How will this decision lead to more for you? Making million-dollar decisions can start as small as, I know that eating properly and drinking water is going to help my body feel energized and fuel to handle whatever task that I have today. So I need to eat. It could also look like, I know that I can best support my clients whenever they show up to our meetings prepared, having completed their pre-work, they show up on time. So I know that I'm going to communicate this prior to our meeting. Everything from worthiness to nourishment to boundaries and leadership is all related to energy. I use human design as a tool to help me navigate the best ways to utilize my energy to lead. Human design is a system that brings together astrology, the Hindu chakra system, the Chinese I Ching, Kabbalah, and quantum physics to reveal to us the code of our genetic design. And while I love all the valuable insight and clarity that human design brings to me, I do understand that it is just a tool. It is not the source. And what I mean by that is that I don't need human design or astrology or the Enneagram or Myers-Briggs to tell me who I am. I already know, it's already within me, and it's already something that I can feel and have an innate knowing that it is there already without someone having to tell me about it. But at the same time, you can use these tools to help bring more clarity to what you already know about yourself. My human design tells me that as a projector, I have a gift of seeing things in a way that others can't. When I am dialed into my worthiness, that shows up in my coaching and being able to see a person holistically, flaws and all, seeing right through their limiting beliefs and into the person I know that they have the potential to be if they just allow themselves to be. Worthiness is in the being. My human design also tells me that I will be valued for what I see rather than what I do. When I am dialed into my worthiness, that shows up in being the go-to for my inner circle, a bank of knowledge or source of inspiration or wisdom, or just someone who can hold space for them to just be. Worthiness is in the being. My human design tells me that I should only share my gifts when people who want to receive them ask me for them. When I am down into my worthiness, that shows up in my not overgiving, not trying too hard to prove myself and be validated externally. Rather, instead, I operate from my zone of genius to offer valuable insight and guidance wherever I've been invited to show up and to help someone. Worthiness is in the being. Knowing your design helps you validate and dial into your own worthiness, giving yourself the permission you need, because it is through that self-awareness and self-recognition that we answer the call to lead. Back then at that job, for the last and final 9 months that I was there in that position, I kept that sticky note. I kept it on my desk, out in the open, in plain sight for anyone who wanted to walk by to see it. It was my daily reminder for my manager to see, even when he did his daily walkthroughs, my visual reminder that the value assigned to me through this work was not what the value that I assigned to myself. And it did not define me as a person, nor did it feel like a personal blow. After all, it was just business. But I did keep that sticky note out to encourage me every day that I showed up to this job, that I was worthy. And so I began to move like it. I grew firmer in my boundaries at work. I was more vocal in communicating the confidence through my ideas. And I started to manifest what my worthy world would look like, would feel like even. And as I look around today and at the work that I'm doing today, I can see it happening. And I thank God for that. And I thank God that not only am I here, but I feel worthy enough to keep going and to deepen that relationship with myself and to deepen that sense of worthiness and be able to share it with you today. Thank you.